22.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube.
So nasally.
75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Yeah, buddy. We are back. Super Bowl has been finished, completed. And our picks, well, I'll tell you what. Our picks for the Super Bowl were fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
I was actually hoping it would stay at 24-20 because that would have been really close to mine.
I was hoping the 49ers were going to kick a field goal. I was like, come on, kick that field goal. Make it 31-24 or whatever it was. Come on, 23. Come on, let's do it. I wanted it so close. So I had the 49ers 24 and the Kansas City Chiefs 30. You had 24-27. Very close. We were both very close in our picks. We both got Patrick Mahomes as the MVP, which there could be an argument for D. Will.
Damian Williams.
But the thing is I can see why they didn't. I mean,
I would
Mahomes did
also
contribute 3 touchdowns.
I would also make an honorable mention argument for Chris Jones, who wreaked absolute havoc on that defensive line. And I will tell you right now, my brother and I have had this conversation over the course of the last few weeks about Chris Jones and, if the Dolphins should pursue him in free agency. And I will tell you right now, he is the top guy I want in free agency. And I would say pay that motherfucking guy whatever he wants.
FYI, this show is not for kids.
Not for kids.
Not suited for work.
Yes, not suitable
safe
for work.
Whatever.
Yeah, not suitable for work.
Not
I think
S-word for
NSFW. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I want Chris Jones because that guy. I mean, not only does he get pressure on the quarterback, he is so quick with his hands. He gets his hands up. He bats balls down at the line, and those are drive killers, man. That is, if you were watching a football game and you were a fan of the team and your team is on offense, right? And you see a guy you see his quarterback make a throw and that ball gets batted down. That is, it takes the air out of you. Yeah. It is as deflating.
Did a great job with that, yeah.
Oh, and Chris Jones was disruptive last night. I give him an honorable mention.
Yeah.
But I would have given the MVP to Damian Williams. But listen, we're kind of splitting hairs.
It's tough because that one run is where he got most of his yards. And it was at the very end, and they were not. It was like they were trying.
It was the backbreaker.
They were all egg. They had all their eggs in one basket on defense for the 49ers, and the Chiefs just happened to pick the opposite.
I think he would have gotten it if on that one drive where Mahomes ran it in, if Williams had actually just gotten another couple inches and gotten it across. Because then he would have had 3. Probably.
D. Will also made a boneheaded move in the end zone where he should have caught a touchdown.
Yes,
but he wasn't looking for the ball. And that is something that's kind of plagued him all year. So, I mean, he is.
He showed up, though.
I think that Patrick Mahomes probably should have gotten it because 3 touchdowns.
Yes, I don't have
2 picks.
I don't have an issue with it.
But that 49ers defense wreaked havoc on every quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. That was the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has played all year. Yeah. So you kind of expected that. Also, Super Bowl jitters, first Super Bowl. I mean,
and you could tell he was nervous at the beginning.
Oh my God,
bad throws.
Without a doubt, he was short arming balls. It was not pretty.
And I will say something that I had talked about in our pre-game, and I'm going to toot my own horn here because I had said, what you should see Patrick Mahomes move because they struggle against the quarterback that can move and get out of the pocket and actually run the ball.
Yeah.
And he didn't really start doing that until late in the third quarter, fourth quarter, where he really started getting out of the pocket, started moving the ball with the
they were getting a lot of pressure on him too. He had to.
Right. And that's where they get hurt because they get the pressure on him, but they're only rushing 4.
Right.
So you can get out of the pocket. If you can run the ball with your quarterback, that disrupts their defensive plan. And that is where they struggle on defense. That's their main problem.
Yeah.
And he started kind of doing that and getting out of the pocket and making throws doing that way. And that's when he started looking like the Patrick Mahomes we saw all year long.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a good, I mean, even one of those interceptions, like the interception that went off Tyreek Hill hand and then went up in the air and then they got the interception. He threw it behind him, but I think he was trying to throw it a little behind him because there's defenders all around. You have to kind of get it in a narrow window. And Tyreek Hill just happened to hit it right up in the air and it went right to the defender. And that's how interceptions happen sometimes. So I think that he did deserve it, but it was close. It was close. I mean, their defense really did step up in that fourth quarter, though.
And let's from right off the bat, I just want to say how happy I am for Andy Reid.
Yeah,
I mean, it just
we can give another clap for that.
Because this really now elevates him. The guy has 222 career wins. Okay, he's got his ring now. He's got his Lombardi trophy. He's a surefire first ballot Hall of Fame coach. He's an all-time great coach. And you know you're beloved when your previous employer sends a nice tweet after the game and says, "Time's yours, Andy." Yeah. And Jeffrey Loria, who is the owner of the Eagles, was there and was cheering him on. And really, really wanted that for him. I mean, that's when you've really made an impact. Yeah. In your career. And I think that I think for him this is just really it really was the defining moment that he needed to really just put a cap on an all-time great career. And I would not be surprised if he wins a couple more, especially with this team, the way they're set up.
I think he can win one more. I mean, because there are some really good teams coming up, so it's going to be tough.
The Ravens are going to be tough.
The 49ers are going to
even the Niners are going to
be
the Rams,
there, if they can get their act together, they could be tough again. There are a lot of teams that
I think there's a window for the Packers that still exists.
Yeah, the Cowboys could be tough in the future, depending on who they get. Depending on how they run their game plan. The Bryman's exiting for a second. He's fixing his printer or something. And then let me know what you guys think. I want to know if you think that they made the right call, having Patrick Mahomes be the MVP. You just sound off in the comments and let us know who you think should have won the MVP. You can also let us know if you thought it was a good game. Also, and later in the show, we're going to be talking about the commercials, and we're going to be talking about the trailers that happened, the movie trailers, and the commercials that happens. We're going to give our favorites and kind of touch on them a little bit. We'll talk about our favorite trailers that happened. And the halftime show. We'll talk about that a little bit. We're not going to get into too much of that, but we'll get into it a little bit. So anyway, we had all that. We have Andy Reid getting his victory finally in the Super Bowl, finally getting that victory. I mean, didn't he get one with the Packers as a quarterback coach? But that's not the same. Not the same thing.
Yeah.
Not anywhere near the same thing.
No.
So now he's got as a head coach. He got there once with McNabb. Didn't go well against the Patriots. He got to the NFC Championship game a lot, but couldn't quite get over the hump.
He was one of those over the hump guys.
And now, finally, he's got his ring. He's attached to one of the upcoming, could potentially be one of the greatest of all time quarterbacks.
And you know what I love about him, too, is he really genuinely enjoyed this, too. He wasn't like a grumpy asshole like Bill Belichick. This guy...
I do want to talk about something about like that, but go ahead.
He really enjoyed it. They dumped that Gatorade on him, and he pumped his arms, and he was just, he wanted that moment he wanted that moment for so long and so badly, and I'm really happy that he got it because he just, to a man, these Chiefs players talk about how good of a guy he is. I actually stayed up for a while and watched a lot of the post-game interviews on the NFL Network.
Yep.
And, man, I got to tell you, to a man, they love this guy. They all talked about wanting to do it for him, wanting to get him that ring, wanting to get him, that championship to separate him and put him in that conversation with the all-time greats. And they just, all of them said, you just don't know how good of a guy he is. And not just, yes, he's one of the best coaches in the league from an X's and O's perspective. You get all that. But just the kind of man and the kind of human being he is, and he's like a parent to a lot of these guys, and they love him. They just love him, and that's actually why I'm more happy for him. It's just because, the NFL is full of so many bad guys. It's nice to see a good guy, a genuinely good guy, get something that he deserves in a good way.
So the other thing I want to talk about is a guy on the other side of the ball, Kyle Shanahan, who I think is a phenomenal coach.
He is, very much.
I think he proved it last night. He is a very talented coach, and I am looking forward to seeing what he does in his future. But he is definitely much more like Bill Belichick, and probably his father, than Andy Reid, because he was furious throughout any bad calls that his team got.
He was
furious at the end of the game.
Yeah.
You could just see it in his eyes. You could see like the fire just burning behind his eyes, and just like, and when during those press conferences that he had, he was just kind of like he was just, you could tell the anger that was in there, and that he is going to immediately go home today. He's going to be home today, and he is going to be already starting his game plan. Because that's how the kind of guy he seems like he is. He is great coach, great mind, did what he could with what the team that he had. But unfortunately, and Jimmy Garoppolo, we both said, is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. And he proved it. He seemed a little young. Like, he made some throws that those 49er greats, the Joe Montanas, the Steve Youngs, those are throws where they would get hit, and he wouldn't loft it up in the air. They wouldn't loft it up in the air like that to the defense, because he would get those hits, and instead of getting hit while you're throwing into the ball, he's fading away from the hit and throwing, which is going to put a lot of loft on the ball, and it's going to allow defenders to get to it. And that's what he did when the contact was coming, and when instead of stepping into it and taking the hit, which sometimes you got to do, you're going to get hurt. He almost got hurt anyway. Yeah. So it's just one of those times that, the Chiefs did a good job of disrupting him, which is what we said when we filmed, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. We said that they needed to disrupt him because he gets rid of the ball so quick. And Deebo Samuels has proven he might have, that Juice, they call him, the tight end fullback guy that they Juice or I can't remember. I don't know his name, but I was just introduced to him basically yesterday because he had a good game. But those are the guys that would have really kind of
use check.
Is,
I think the J it's a soft J.
It's a soft J, like a GIF. But that's a soft G. Anyway,
like yogging,
yes, and
soft J.
Like Juan.
Use check,
Jose.
Yeah.
All right, so we had I thought it was a very good game. It was definitely up and down. I really thought in the third quarter game was over, that the 49ers was just going to hold it. And they seemed to be running the ball with ease, doing all
They got that turnover, and they were already up 10, and they got that turnover, the one that bounced off of. That's when I thought it was over.
Yeah. But the Chiefs defense stepped up. They have a good defense. Fuller played well, Ward played well, Breeland played well. Jones had even Clark got there. He had one penalty that wasn't very good, but putting the pressure on the quarterback, they did a good job.
Matthew was a great leader. He's such a great leader.
Yeah, and
he really has. Boy, that guy he's matured so much.
Yeah, he's a.
He really has. Yeah, he is.
Talk about a guy that he's one of those guys that you hate when he's not on your team.
Right.
But you love him when you're on your team.
Well, actually, that's not totally true because I like him a lot.
But he's not on my team. If he was playing against you.
Well, I don't like anybody generally that plays against the Dolphins. I've got that old school.
I have admiration for certain people, when you had the teams like when Peyton Manning was playing against the Bills or something like that, you'd be like, wow.
You know how nuts it drives. You know how nuts it used to drive me when Jeter would sit there and talk to every Red Sox player when they were. I hate that shit. I am Thurman Munson through and through. I really am, and I'll never apologize for that, and I'll never change. I competitive, and I like the competition, and I think when you're on the field with those guys, they're your fucking enemy. But that's fine. I mean, that's listen, if it's a different. Listen, sports is so different now. These guys all get paid a ton. That level of, so it's not like because that is why too athletes used to be like that back in the day, was because they had to beat you because they needed the money. Rings were actually not a big thing back in the day. I mean, yes, winning was important, but you needed to get paid.
They didn't want to go and sell shoes in the offseason.
You wanted that postseason share, so you didn't have to go and work in a retail store in the offseason. Yeah. It's just a different time. I mean, athletes back in the 40s and 50s were war heroes. I mean, it's just a very different time, which, I haven't accepted, but
it's good. It's good and bad. It's good and bad. All right. So, let us know if there's any other Super Bowl stuff that you want us to talk about other than the commercials.
The one other thing I want to say is,
but I would just sound off in the comments if you guys want us to talk about anything in general about the Super Bowl, or anything going forward, just let us know in the comments, and we will try and touch on it before we kind of shift topics over into the halftime and commercials, trailers, all that kind of stuff. So go ahead. What do you have to say?
I just wanted to say, the one thing that surprised me, because when we did our show a couple of weeks ago, I think I had said that the one thing that the Chiefs couldn't do, which they still did anyway, was to get down, by 10 or even 17 to the Niners, because they weren't going to be able to pull it off.
All playoff year.
But they did it. That was the theme of their playoff.
Yeah.
It really was. They were a team that was resilient, and they persevered, and every time they got down, it didn't matter how many times they came back every time.
It wasn't really adjustments. It was just them finally getting the nerves out and getting into their own game.
Yeah.
They actually played their game like late in the third quarter into the fourth.
And I think it was that way the previous two games with the Texans and with the Titans too. I don't think they made adjustments. They just started playing their game finally.
Yeah. And I think that
came out.
You saw on like Twitter, if you follow Twitter and Instagram, or if you follow all these different personalities, you saw like a lot of people saying like, oh man, just look at this. Patrick Mahomes beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl with his B game, just a matter of what happens next year. Like I saw some people say stuff like that. It's like, that wasn't his B game. This was him playing against the toughest defense that he had to face all year. And he beat them. And it took him a while to get the nerves out. It took him a while to figure out the defense and all that stuff, but he did it. Like, I do think that he could have played better, but it's not like this is like a B game. It's just a very big game, tough scenario, tough defense. Like, it's a different sense. Something different.
I do agree with the sentiment though, in the sense that him now having gone through a Super Bowl, having this experience, right? It should be a different experience for him next time he's in one, because I feel like he'll be ready for the moment, and he'll know all. You have to experience that. That's getting to that Super Bowl, going through those 2 weeks while you're building up with the media and the practices. It's a lot. It's a lot to He probably couldn't wait to get to the game, just because then all that stuff would be behind him. Worrying about getting tickets for God knows how many people, and so I mean, but I'm, you know what? I agree with you. I agree kind of both. I agree with you in the sense that the bottom line is he was just playing the most superior defense he had played all year, but I also do agree that there was some shakiness there. But I think that'll be less, because now he'll know one. He'll know that experience, and he'll also be able to lean back on it and say, not only did I go through that, but I came out in the end winning, and I can do it again. So, but he was really good last night. He really was. Yes, he was very shaky, especially in the first half, but he, like this team, picked himself up like they have all postseason, and actually all. So I think there was a statistic that said they have, throughout the season, twice in the regular season, 3 times in the postseason, trailed by double digits and won all 5 of those games. That's awesome. When you trail by double digits, for the most part, you'll be lucky if you win one of those games.
Yeah.
They went 5-0 in those games, and that is unequivocally why they are Super Bowl champions.
Yes. All right. Now, I'm going to actually go live here for a second on Instagram. And let's see. Here we go. I'm live on Instagram now, because we are live on YouTube, and we are talking about the Super Bowl, recapping it, giving out because our scores were the Bryman and I both picked the Chiefs to win. We both had Patrick Mahomes winning the MVP. He won the MVP, but we are talking about it and going over in depth about what we felt about this. So if you want to check us out on YouTube, go ahead and do that and see what we got going on there. I'll even shift this over to the Bryman real quick so he can give you a smile. There he is. Yes, we are live on YouTube. So yeah, check us out, and we will be there for the next probably half hour or so. We're going to be talking about movie trailers that we saw during the Super Bowl, commercials, halftime show. So tune in. We'll see you soon. All right. So we got that going on.
I want to talk about this halftime show.
Yeah, you want to get into it?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, let's get into it. You start talking about the halftime show. Funniest comment, friend of mine on Twitter, who lives on the other side of the states. He lives in California. He had the funniest comment I saw about the halftime show.
Okay.
He said, I don't care. I would watch Shakira paint a bathroom.
Well, he kind of stole a lot of my thunder because I will tell you, I had been looking forward to this halftime show for weeks, and I've been talking about it in my house in front of my wife for weeks because I was like, I love Shakira. Oh man, her hips have not lied for 20 years, man.
She looks good, right?
She's
the fountain of youth. I mean, she's 43 years old.
She's 40. She's a year older than me. And I'll tell you what.
My wife was like, how is she 43?
Yeah. I tell you what, man. That Shakira can shake them. Holy shit. I cannot tell you how many hilarious masturbation tweets I saw last night. Oh my
God.
People oh my God. People are definitely disgusting. But in a lot of ways, they were saying a lot of things that I think a lot of people were actually feeling. I could watch her all night long. And I don't know what else to say. I don't mean it to come off as creepy. I'm not coming off as a creepy old man. She's literally a year older than me. So, but wow.
Yeah.
And listen, and J-Lo was nothing to, sneeze at either. She's unbelievable. She looks amazing too. And listen, the performances were what they were. I mean, fine, the songs, whatever. But they were going to kind of do like a mashup of all their greatest hits and all that shit. But holy crap, Shakira running around that stage, shaking her hips is just the amount of GIFs that came out of that Super Bowl halftime show, and that we will be seeing for years on end. Some of them are, and even the one with Shakira like doing the thing with her tongue. I mean, that was immediately a GIF.
Did you see the one with the goat?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I showed that to Christine. I saw that to we were sitting there, and it's like her going, coming, and like the goat.
Yeah. It was funny.
It's hilarious.
I just listen. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. That's a fine woman right there. Shakira's she is just easy on the eye. I sent Tim a text last night, and I was like, I'll tell you what, man.
I was not excited about the Super Bowl halftime at all. I thought it was going to be boring, and I was actually pretty blown away by it. I was like watching the whole thing, and because Shakira's doing her thing, with her hips and all that kind of stuff, and she's incredibly fit, and she's just like the fountain of youth. I don't know what the heck is going on there, but like. When she did that, they had that big group dance.
Yes.
And she's in there. I'm like, you see everybody there, like going, like they are like really, really going hard. Like they are like really trying, putting a lot of effort. And she's just sitting there and like has a smile on her face and is just doing the same exact thing. And it looked so easy. I'm like, holy crap. That is some serious skill.
Well, that's good that at least one of us is taking it from that sort of approach. Let me get back to the sex appeal thing, because I sent a text to Tim, and I was like, listen, man, even after all these years, that woman still checks a lot of boxes for me. She's just so hot.
Christy goes, I think she how is she 43? She looks like she's 25. Like and that she is there's a female golfer that I follow on Twitter. She's young. She's probably like 21, 2-ish. Really talented golfer. Already in I think a top 10. And she posted on Instagram on one of her stories. She's like, after seeing Shakira and J-Lo's, hitting the fountain of youth or whatever, she's like, this is me immediately. And she's like, goes to the bathroom and she starts like scrubbing her face and like putting all this lotion on and like facial masks and stuff like that. Like how do you... Like neither one of them must have ever drank in the last 20 years. They just must consistently eat nothing but like perfectly like avocado toast and like kale smoothies and things like that. Like, how do you stay in that kind of shape? Because J-Lo's 50.
Yeah, she's 50. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do they do that?
If they want to do that again for halftime next year, I'm fine with that. I actually feel bad for whoever has to do halftime next year. I felt bad for whoever's had to do halftime since Prince did halftime like 10 or 12 years ago, because that was one of the great halftime shows ever.
I feel bad. Oh, another one I want to talk about.
How do you follow up Shakira and J-Lo shaking their hips and their ass for 20
like,
minutes?
It's like
How
Whitney
do you follow
Houston
that up?
singing the national anthem.
Right.
Like that's never going to be. And Demi Lovato did a great job.
She did a really nice job.
She nailed it.
She did. Beautiful.
But when and I was like even pointing out to the kids and my wife, I'm like, all right, here comes the big note. Can she hit it? And she did.
Yeah.
She hit them all.
Yeah,
she did a great job.
She did. No, she did.
But I'm like, she's still not that Whitney performance.
Oh, no.
Nobody's ever going to get to that Whitney performance. That was the most, that gives you chills.
Well, you got to remember too.
Brings you to tears.
You got to remember the timing too.
Yeah,
Super Bowl 25. The country was at war. Right. I mean, it was just, and she was the right person at the right time.
Could have done that. She could have done that at any point in time, though, and that would have lived on forever. That was.
Oh no, I agree. I completely.
The heart, the power, just
I completely agree.
Such a talented singer.
I will tell you that. I think the two best performances of either a national anthem or God Bless America, and you're going to laugh at the God Bless America one, but if you go back and watch it, you will, you will see I'm not wrong. Whitney, no. So Whitney at Super Bowl 25 is the best national anthem I've ever seen. The best God Bless America I've ever seen. No joke. This is not joke. Was Aretha Franklin at WrestleMania 3 in front of 93,000 people.
I would not laugh at that.
Just YouTube it.
Aretha Franklin is
unreal. It's beautiful. It's absolutely, and again, 93,000. First of all, 93,000 people is just an obscene amount of people. Yeah. And so the visual, I mean, the visual of that though too, her in front of that crowd and she's playing the piano and singing "God Bless America" is just nuts.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Right, so how about that? What were some of your favorite halftime performances? Put it in the comment section if you got the chance, and let us know what you guys think.
Actually, I take that back. I think Aretha also sang the national anthem. I don't think it was God Bless America. I apologize, but it's just one of the most rousing performances I think I've ever seen.
There are some good ones out there, but yeah, I mean, Demi definitely knocked it out last night, and that's a tough thing to do. That's a huge stage, and she breezed through it. All right, so let's get into. I think we should stop the talk about the NFL. Not necessarily stop it. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to put in there, want us to talk about, throw it in the comments. We will talk about it. I haven't seen any comments lately. I think a lot of people are just kind of listening, maybe in the background.
Okay, I was wrong again. It was America the Beautiful. That's what she said.
That's great.
America the Beautiful. But it is. Please watch that. Please go and watch. YouTube that. YouTube Aretha Franklin, America the Beautiful at WrestleMania 3. It's stunning performance.
All right. Now, let's get into some movies. Because you know what we got to talk about? We got to get on to a little...
Where do you think you're going? I'm going to sort it out.
We're going to sort it out here on the Sports and Sorts side. We have the movie trailers that were in this. Like, there's a lot of commercials, and we're going to touch on the commercials. That'll be the last thing we talk about. But I do want to get into the movie trailers, because there were some really good ones, and there were some that I just could not care less about. Like the Minions trailer that came out, I could not care less. That movie trailer, I was like, really? Another one? Like, I know they're making money, but come on. Like, this is getting old. And like the trailer did nothing to sell me on going to the movie other than the fact that it made me want to distance myself from that movie. So I'm not a big Minions fan. I didn't really care about. I liked the original, Gru and the Minions. Like, I thought that was clever. But when they started coming out with their own movies, I watched one and I was like, oh my God, I'm dumber. I'm dumber from seeing that.
Yeah,
it just wasn't good. So, but there were some really good ones. Like, I really enjoyed the James Bond. No Time to Die trailer.
Yes.
I am extremely pumped up to see that movie.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the last Bond film, with Daniel Craig and Christoph Waltz. I didn't really care for that. I expected so much more out of Waltz being the villain, and we didn't really get it. So I'm hoping that with Remy Malek being in this and seeing, there's obviously Christoph Waltz is in this movie too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this is going to be epic, and this is going to be kind of ending of the Christoph Waltz and Daniel Craig story. Daniel Craig being over, hopefully after this, because I can't say I've loved him as Bond, but I have enjoyed several of the Bond movies that he's been in. And I do think that I'm hoping that this is going to be an epic ending to his Bond series. Did you have any thoughts about the Bond trailer?
Thought it was really good. Thought it was really good. It looks like there's a moment in that trailer where, like right towards the end, he sees something that like opens his eyes. You're like, oh God, what's that moment? What's that going to be? No, it was good. It was good. And I'm.
It sold you on going to see the movie, and that's what
it
that's
did.
The trailer
No, it
supposed
did.
to do. It's supposed to increase your
excitement
level.
And that made me want to go. Plus, we also know that this is almost certainly the last Daniel Craig Bond.
Yes.
And he's been a really good Bond. He really has. And people's Bond tastes are very. It's like politics, a very personal thing to a lot of people. Like I will tell you,
I love Pierce Brosnan as Bond. It's just unfortunate that they dropped the ball with the writing and the special effects. His first one was pretty good. Like,
you will laugh. You will laugh at me. I thought Timothy Dalton was an awesome Bond.
No, I'm not gonna laugh. I mean, there are not many bad Bond movies.
No, and I think most of the guys who have played him
have been pretty good.
Been good.
Yeah.
I mean, Connery is, listen, objectively, I can still tell you, Sean Connery's, he's James Bond. But I'll tell you what, I mean, after that,
I'll tell you what, man.
It's probably Daniel Craig after that. I mean, if you're being objective about it, I would probably say Daniel Craig after that.
Yeah.
But Brosnan would probably be third. If I had to do a top three, that's probably how I would do it.
Yeah.
That's probably how I would do it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of all these guys.
But I loved Timothy Dalton, though. I liked his look. I liked the Timothy Dalton look, I think.
He looks like a Bond.
He had a great look for
like
Bond.
Pierce Brosnan. He kind of looked like a Bond.
Yeah, he did. Right. He did. Pierce Brosnan had that look.
Sometimes you just didn't get the right writers and directors, and that sometimes can ruin a film. So that was great. I enjoyed The Black Widow, but I'm not super excited to go see it. I'm like, the trailers don't really do much for me.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Is that the trailers aren't selling me on like getting me excited to go see the movie.
It's a
the
good
only thing that got me excited to go see this movie was when Kevin Feige
for me.
Kevin Feige came out and said, "This movie is going to tie up Endgame perfectly. Like you're going to really get the whole thing that's going on by watching this movie." So that got me excited to go see it. Everything else that I've seen, I'm just kind of like, eh.
I mean, I was going to go see it anyway.
I'll go see it probably.
Because 90 minutes of ScarJo and Rachel Weisz works for me. Again, boxes are being checked. Horrible. Married man. Terrible. But no, I thought that trailer was good. I actually thought, I was impressed with the Mulan trailer.
Yeah, I have that
visually. That looks like a pretty visually stunning movie.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that. I don't know if I'm a rush to see it, but I do love, because I didn't like the animated movie. It's just not one of those that hit me.
No, it was never one of mine.
So, but I think that this is one of those movies that's going to translate into live action much better than the animated version.
Yes. And probably much better than some of the other ones that they have tried to translate to.
I think that this could do better. Yeah.
Like, Lion King may be one of the greatest animated movies ever. Its translation into live action, well, it still really wasn't live action. Those are still CGI animals. Just, I don't know.
And the Jungle Book was good. It was really good.
Jungle Book was good. Jungle Book was good.
It was a lot of fun. I haven't seen the second. I haven't seen the one that Andy Serkis directed. That's on Netflix or whatever it was. Yeah. I haven't seen that one. But I mean, they've done a pretty good job with those movies. I mean, I've heard that Sleeping Beauty was really. I mean, no, I'm not Sleeping Beauty. Beauty and the Beast was really good. I heard that Aladdin was really good, and I've heard I've heard not so nice things said about the Lion King one, but Mulan looks like it's going to translate really well into live action. I'm looking forward to that.
See, Lion King is one of my favorite animated movies, and so that was an uphill battle for someone like me who loves that movie. So
Yeah.
it just didn't hit the mark.
Another one that I'm pretty excited for, and I'm still not 100% like into it, but like, because I don't know exactly what it's about. And they're doing a good job. What?
Top Gun.
Yes, Top Gun 2.
Yeah.
Not really sure what it's about. And
I don't
where
either.
they're going
Me
with
neither.
this,
Right.
but I'm kind of stoked for it.
Oh, I am definitely.
Like, I'm kind of like, I don't know which way they're going with this, but I'm kind of excited to see it. And I don't like the first Top Gun movie.
What do you think about Miles Teller being Goose's son and his call sign being Rooster?
That is what it is. I mean, Top Gun was kind of a goofy movie.
I mean, that's just, I don't know. But listen, Tom Cruise, is another one of these ageless wonders who just saw. I mean,
he's like 52, isn't he?
This is like how many years after he made the first one, and 35 years, and he still like looks really good.
Alexa, how old is Tom Cruise? 57 years old.
7? Fuck. I'm 15 years younger than him, and I look like shit. Jesus Christ.
57.
Man, that fucking Scientology must do the trick.
You gonna change?
No, that is an absolute cult.
All right, so now there's let's go to so
how about SpongeBob? How about SpongeBob too?
Yeah,
Sponge on the Run.
SpongeBob movie on the run. I'm all good. If the kids want to see it, fine.
Oh, I'm
if
going.
not,
I'm going. I love SpongeBob. I still watch SpongeBob. It's funny.
It checks a box for me with Snoop Dogg being in it, but like other than that, I'm like, I don't really. I enjoyed the one like what David Hasselhoff and all that stuff. That was fun. Like that was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun. But this one, I have no like. It's just I'm like no. Nothing new.
What did you think of the Quiet Place sequel?
I'm not a big horror guy, and I didn't see The Quiet Place.
I love horror, and I did see The Quiet Place.
This looks like it's going way too sci-fi. Like it seems like they take The Quiet Place and like, which was from what I understand, phenomenal movie.
It was,
but it seems like they're going like almost like straight up like Signs, like like not even like I don't know, like what is that the
War of the Worlds?
War of the Worlds, like crazy.
Here's what I will say. Quiet Place was great, and I would have left it at that. I would have left it as a standalone horror movie. Like, it's hard. These movies make money, and they just can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. You know?
Money.
Not to mention Hollywood is running out of a lot of original ideas. So
yeah, I disagree with that. They do reboot a lot of things, but
like boots.
But there are a ton of new content.
Well, and actually, Quiet Place was an original concept, and it was very good.
Yeah.
I would have left that alone. There are certain movies where I love to see sequels. Love it. Yeah. I would have left alone.
Did you happen to see the Amazon Prime thing, the Hunters with Al Pacino?
Yes. Yeah.
It looks interesting.
Yeah.
I don't really love Al Pacino playing a German guy.
So weird.
So weird.
But there's a supernatural element to this too, right?
Well, it's like an Inglourious Bastards kind of thing. Like it's like they're taking it kind of like a little weird and goofy, but also it seems a little like alien kind of.
Yeah, there's
supernatural.
There's something going on there, but it wasn't. Weird. They didn't full blown reveal it though.
No.
So I'm mildly intrigued.
I'm not really excited about.
I don't have Amazon Prime though.
Yeah, so. I'm not.
Not that there are. I can watch that. There are ways I can access that, but
I don't have it. I mean, I have Amazon Prime, but I'm not like. It's definitely not on my check. It's not. It doesn't check a lot of boxes for me. Like I liked Inglourious Bastards. I didn't love it.
Oh, I love Inglourious Bastards.
There's movies like that, like, and then going into. Taking it to a supernatural kind of side of things, I don't know. Not really. All right. So there are a couple other movies that are out there that we did get, and talking about checking boxes and stuff like that with movies. Sonic came out with a trailer.
Yikes!
I kind of want to see this movie because it could either be really good or really bad. Not really good. It could be good or bad. And
why is it that James Marsden always gets suckered into playing these roles with like furry animated creatures, rabbits and fucking hedgehogs?
Yeah. It could be entertaining.
He's such a good actor. Why is he doing this shit? Seriously, that guy is a good actor. Why
This
is he doing this stuff?
This trailer was terrible, but until the very end, where it almost got me wanting to see it a little bit, which was the end with Jim Carrey, and they're talking about good cop, bad cop. Comes out to go give him a high five, and then he goes like and throat punches him. He's like, you left yourself open, and just walks away. I'm like, that's Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey. So that got me excited. So I'm glad I waited till the very end to see that.
I'm sure he'll be good as Robotnik, but
yeah, he's going to be the reason why people go see this. Like Sonic is just just fine.
First of all, they had to
have his moments, but
remember they had to remake Sonic because his teeth were all jacked up.
Oh, his teeth, his hand, everything was all weird. The hair was weird.
He's definitely. I mean, they did a good job at least as far as the redigitizing to make him more appealing because he looked like trash before.
Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about, as far as trailers and stuff goes,
Marvel.
I know that you and I are both going to be very excited about this.
Oh, yeah.
And I am so excited for Disney Plus because Disney Plus is straight fire. And that is good. Falcon and the Winter Soldier looks great. WandaVision looks so unique.
And Loki. Yeah, I'm all in on all of these. I wish they did a great job just kind of teasing about. I wish they were more specific about the timing because all it said was coming soon. So I know those dates are out there.
Falcon and Winter Soldier coming out this year.
Yeah, right.
Soon, like in the fall, I think.
Yeah.
WandaVision, I think, is supposed to come out either the end of this year or the beginning of next year, and Loki is supposed to come out in like the middle to end of 2021.
Okay.
I think we're waiting a while for that. But they're also, I think the new season of Clone Wars comes out this month in February.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last final season of Clone Wars comes out this month as well. So I got some stuff to watch, which is good.
Well, listen, if The Mandalorian was any indication of what we can expect for their original programming, we're in for
2 okay episodes, and the rest were really great.
We're in for some really good. So I was into every one of those episodes, all of them. Yeah. That was a great story, and I can't wait for them to continue that story because it was just so well done.
So, what was everybody else excited about? Did they see any trailers or anything out there that got them pumped up to go see the movie? Was there anything that popped out there that kind of missed the mark and kind of left you like, maybe I won't see that opening weekend or at all? All right, so let me know what you guys think. Sign in the comments.
I'm curious to hear your commercials because I have an honorable mention and then I have a top 3.
Oh, I have so I looked at I kind of jotted quick notes about all of them.
Okay. I focused on 4.
The Groundhog Day one, the Jeep Rubicon with Bill Murray was okay. I thought it was fine, because Groundhog Day was on Super Bowl and all that. It was fine. It was nothing great. It was okay. It was a play on that movie, but they did it with a Jeep and it's fine. But the one that, do I want to get in the one that stole the show really for me? There was a couple that were, I thought there were several that were
just
really,
do
really
all of yours and then I'll do
all
mine.
Right, so I'll touch on the one that me and my wife both thought were hilarious. The last one I'll touch on. So I thought the Doritos Cool Ranch one was okay, but Sam Elliott's mustache doing the worm / arm roll thing was hilarious, and he totally should have won that. Totally should have won the Doritos. That would have made it better. But they kind of passing the torch or whatever to the new generation. Whatever. Go ahead. That didn't made me like it at the end, but I liked the commercial. The Tide commercial with Charlie Day. And they kind of played it out throughout the whole Super Bowl. They even crossed over with Bud Light and stuff like that. It was fun. Wasn't anything great.
I liked the last one where they're both old. And then she throws the thing on his sweater after he shows her the clean one. And she dirties the other one.
It was fine. It was good, but it was it was almost took too long. It was a running joke that was kind of just every time he popped up, you're kind of
just kept running.
Strategic. But then they had the one that I had saw already because I've watched a lot of stuff on YouTube is the Smart Pack with the Hyundai Sonata or the Hyundai where Chris Evans and the SNL character, I can't remember her name is.
John Krasinski and I think is that Sherry O'Terry? Is that Sherry O'Terry?
Yeah. No, it wasn't Sherry O'Terry. It's another character.
Oh, Rachel Dratch.
Yes. And I had seen it days before, but I still like that commercial. It cracks me up. I don't really particularly
It was funny.
It was fun. It was just good. Did Foxbury? Did you pocket? Yeah, I pocked it everywhere.
It didn't make it into my list because Big Phony got in there, and I was like, nope, fuck
you're
that shit.
Yeah, I could see that one. I didn't even mention his name because
Nope.
But the TurboTax commercial where like they were doing the music dance jam, that was good too. It was fun. Nothing like, mind blowing. I really enjoyed the reboot of Jake from State Farm. I thought that was fun.
That was weird because the first half of it is I'm like, wow, they're playing this commercial again?
Yeah,
like
that's what Christine said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then do they ask you what you wear? And then he pops out. Yep. It's like, well, I'm wearing a red shirt. So I thought that was pretty fun.
I had like a red button down.
It wasn't hilarious, but it was a good ending to
it was
fun.
Yeah.
What we did before Alexa, that was good. My favorite part of that was when turned down the temperature by 2 degrees and she threw the log out the window.
Yes, that actually was funny.
I thought that part was good. The rest of them were just okay.
Yeah. The log out the window was definitely the best of all of them.
The Cheetos Can't Touch This with MC
Hammer
was good, not great. It was kind of fun. The Reese's candy bar Take 5, Living Under a Rock.
Yep.
Head in the sand and head up your ass.
Yes.
That was fun. That was pretty fun.
Okay.
I like that one a lot. The Jason Momoa taking all his muscles off and everything. Also creepy, but funny at the same time. And at the end when he's trying to lift come on, help me.
Right. His wife is Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, she did that.
I don't know who his wife is, but
or is his daughter Zoe Kravitz? I can't remember.
The daughter Zoe Kravitz.
The daughter is Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah.
I can't remember the wife.
There was another one, and that is probably my favorite out of all of them, and that was the Snickers, fixing the world with candy.
Oh, and the big hole.
And the things that they were saying about it, how it being stupid, but hey, nothing else is working. Let's try this.
Yeah.
And then the Snickers goes down, and then you have the two social media influencers posting, hey, look at us, we're outside, and they fall in the hole. Hey, it's working. The hole's working.
That actually was funny.
I thought
that was funny.
Great. I thought that was probably my favorite one because it made me the whole thing just kind of was clever and made me laugh.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. What do you got?
That's good. You know what? You mentioned a couple of mine.
Yeah.
But there were
I will talk about some serious ones after you're done, because the serious ones are like the commercials with Budweiser, Verizon, and I think even Microsoft were good. And even the one, the one with the female coach assistant offense coordinator or something, or assistant quarterback coach.
Yeah.
The one, I think it was a Microsoft commercial.
Okay.
And even the next 100 years, that was good, where they led into him running onto the field and handing the ball off. And that was good too. Those were all good. They were kind of heartwarming at the same time, kind of like there was parts that were fun, but they were meant to kind of tug at your heartstrings a little bit. And
So I will give you my top 4. I'll start with my honorable mention, which would have been number 4, which was the and then listen, I like stuff that references movies. I just do. I love it. So the Bryan Cranston Shining.
Oh, that was pretty good. The Mountain Dew one.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was fun.
Diana Ross's daughter.
Yeah. Yes. She's great. Because I used to.
She's like, I am kind of thirsty.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was
He
fun.
did a good job in person.
And then like the whole, and then there's where he's like where he's the twins, and then you see instead of the blood rushing into the hallway, it's the Mountain Dew. That was good. I liked it.
I do. I missed that one. Yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
So my number 3, you already mentioned it, was Jason Momoa, Rocket Mortgage. That was just funny. That shit was funny, man.
It was.
I mean, and he's like, at the end, he's like, I almost
like
forgot.
6 inches.
And he takes his hair off, and it's like, oh man.
So good.
Yes, and and then he's trying to lift, and he can't do it.
He's just holding the bar.
Right, and then she just grabs it with one hand, pulls it up. It was fun. I like that, and I love Jason Momoa. So he's just a likable guy.
He is.
Aquaman. My number 2, this one you did not mention, was the Jimmy Fallon, John Cena, Michelob Ultra one.
Yeah.
I liked that.
I was swinging my
I
golf
like
club
that.
I was swinging my golf club in the living room during that, and so I didn't pay attention.
I really liked like watching an out of shape Fallon trying to keep up with Cena and just like all these different scenarios. And Scott John Cena is so fucking jacked, man. Because he actually has not been around for a while because he's been doing stuff like this. He's been doing movies. He's been doing a lot of commercials, and he's doing the Rock thing. He's making the transition now. He's transitioning out of wrestling and into.
Furious, which you notice I did not mention during my movie trailers because I am not excited to see
there was no need to mention it. But he is clearly making the transition. I will tell you, though, like Cena, I'm excited for the second half of his career, which will be acting, because he has, I don't even know how to describe it. Like The Rock, when The Rock acts, there is a certain charisma there that he exuded when he had in the ring, when he would go on Saturday Night Live. He's been one of the best. He is so magnetic. Cena has a different.
He has talent. He has acting talent.
It's a different. It's hard to describe. There is something about him as an actor that I find very appealing, and he's got good range. Like
was so funny.
He was great in Trainwreck, but I loved him in Blockers. I loved him in Blockers.
He was so good, yeah.
I mean, he just like, cause it's it's weird. Like you see him walking around like with like a plaid shirt and tucked in, and it doesn't seem like he should be able to pull that off, but somehow he can. Yeah. He can pull it. He's got good range, but he's also the guy who can play like a Marine kind of dude in Transformers and be that kind of guy. He looks that part.
Yeah.
I mean, just
he can play a likable character. He can play a character that you hate, and he can also play kind of like an unassuming character.
But his comic chops are good, and his style is very different than The Rock's too. I've said it again. I've said it many times on this show. I will say it again. I so want a reboot of oh God, what the hell was it now? I forgot the damn name of the movie. The Kurt Russell, Sylvester Stallone movie with the two cops.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. What the hell is it? My God, how the hell did that slip my mind? I've talked about this for years. I put it on Twitter like once a year.
It's something in Cash. Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash. I desperately want a Tango and Cash reboot with Cena and The Rock.
Yeah.
How would that not work? And I've talked about how much I don't like reboots, but how would that not?
That might be tough. It depends on if they have good chemistry.
Oh, come on, those guys! How many years they spent in the ring together?
Did they? I don't know. I don't know.
God, yes, yeah? They had a WrestleMania feud that spanned 3 years.
How is their chemistry talking back to each other?
Unbelievable, because they're the two best guys on the mic.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but sometimes you don't. Guys on the mic.
Sometimes you just get overwhelmed by one of the other personalities, so you just want to make sure that they can both stay toe to toe.
Two best guys on the mic going at it for basically 3 years.
Cool.
Yeah. No. They need, those two guys need to be in a movie together, and that will absolutely happen, because the wrestling fans alone will make that movie money.
WWE stock just tanked. Went down like 25% on some news about CFOs and CEOs, or not CEOs, CFO and somebody else leaving. And that it dropped like 25%.
It's gonna take even more after the XFL tanks again. But anyways,
Vince struggling.
But my number one commercial, and you mentioned it, and you were not a fan of it, was without a doubt the Groundhog Day commercial.
Really?
I loved it. I was laughing hysterically through the whole thing. Every scene where he's driving with the groundhog and he's waking up happy and he can't wait for the day to start again, and oh man, and then Ned Ryer there or whatever is waiting for him. And,
I was
God,
okay with it. It was fun.
I loved it because I love that movie, and also it worked well with yesterday being Groundhog Day.
Good movie. Okay,
great movie. I loved the commercial. I loved it. That was my number one. And what's funny is like I got so into the commercial I barely could remember what it was about, but it was Jeep. It was like the Jeep Rubicon or whatever. Yeah. But I really enjoyed that. I feel like it's a bit of a Bill Murray sellout because he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would do something like that. But
he's got to leave a voicemail.
But I could
on
not
his phone, and then he checks it, and if he likes it, he calls you back.
Right. Or he just shows up to shoot.
Something like that. Yeah.
I enjoyed that commercial a lot. I really did. So those were my top 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird to see him in like a popular Jeep mode. But I guess, I don't know. Maybe he just had some time. Hasn't been doing a lot, so who knows? Maybe he's just not been busy. All right. So anything else you want to talk about before we head out? I mean, we're getting ready to, basketball. Finally, we can start watching some basketball. The season is fully underway. Unfortunately, we had that horrific accident that happened with Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the several other people that were on the helicopter. Very, very, very sad. That was something that, you and I, with just a quick text back, like you were like, that Kobe Bryant thing was like horrific. And I was like,
devastating.
Absolutely. Like that, there's nothing more that you can say. Like, this is a guy, I mean, I have a Kobe Bryant quotes on my wall right there. It's about Kobe Bryant's rules for success. And it's right up there. And it's something that I had my son look at and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, he's a guy that I didn't particularly love when he played basketball. But it's not necessarily, it's just, he had such a competitive fire that it rubbed me the wrong way sometimes, but he was a brilliant human. He was one of the hardest workers you will ever see.
Yeah.
And those things you just can't, if you're going to take away things from certain people, like those are some things that you really want to take away, is the fire, the grit, the hardworking, the ethic. Everybody wants their kids to be intelligent. I mean, this guy spoke 3 different languages. I mean, he was a very, very smart guy. Nobody worked harder. And he had some real words of wisdom to impart on this world. And I would say, me and my wife were kind of talking about it, and we're like, because my son was like, it stinks when you die that early, like, because now there's nothing left for him to do. I was like, well, he did a lot with his life. He did a lot in 41 years that he's going to leave a huge impact on this world. Yeah. So I would have to assume he was probably disappointed the helicopter was going down. But if he looked back on his life, as things were happening, he has to think that, I did a lot for this world. It sucks that, it really sucks that his daughter was on the plane. And the other individuals that were on the helicopter. That is just heartbreaking.
It was devastating for me because I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I'm glad we're talking about it now as opposed to a week ago when it happened, because I don't know that I would have gotten through a show without some serious outbursts of tears, because I cried a lot for a guy that I, like you, didn't particularly love as a player.
I felt the same way about Michael Jordan when he was a player. There were times that I loved him because of his talent, but there was times that his fire and anger, like, just because I wasn't a Bulls fan.
Right.
So it was tough.
I hated Jordan for the first half of his career. I adored him after he started playing baseball because it showed me that he was willing to embarrass and humiliate himself on a very big scale. And for whatever reason, I kind of started to love Jordan after that. To the point where I had, posters of him on my wall, which was just so different because I really didn't like him at first. Yeah. And Kobe in some similar ways. And of course, Kobe mirrored his game and a lot of his style after Jordan in so many ways. I mean, somebody put out that unbelievable video that got onto social media where like Kobe and Jordan blend into each other on the court. Yeah. And it's just seamless. Yeah. And it's almost like scary.
Did you hear the Shaq interview that they did with?
Yes, I heard.
Did you hear the funny story that he told about Kobe? So as a rookie, so they were on the Lakers, and Del Harris was the coach at the time, and they're all in the huddle and getting ready, and Kobe was on the court, and he was like, didn't even have a ball, and he's just like pump faking, doing these things, pretending like he's dribbling, going up, taking head fakes, and going all on the side while Del Harris is giving this talk before the game. Yep. And he's like just going through all this, and he's like, you can't guard me, and like making moves and like shooting and like going back and like doing these. I'm like, he was so mentally strong. Like he was visually showing exactly what he would do, like in his mind in certain situations. He was able to focus and get his imagination on what was going on and absolutely figure out the plan on how to attack it
Yeah.
all without a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like even
Yeah.
without a ball. But Shaq was saying how funny it was because like he was doing that and like he's going bananas like 100% on the side here while we're all getting this talk, and he's
Yeah.
going like ham, like going all crazy.
Yeah.
And he's like this is ridiculous. And then like he said several years later, when Phil Jackson was the coach, he's still doing the same thing. And
Yeah.
they were like, when this was the whole thing where like, I want the ball, I want the ball. Like they both wanted the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And Phil was like, he's like, all right, so who's going to get the ball? And Shaq was just like, give it to the guy who's playing 110% without the ball right now.
Yeah. Right.
Because he's ready. He's definitely ready.
Yeah. So for me, again, the first thing was the loss of Gianna. That just really hit me hard. Again, I have a 13-year-old daughter, so that just really struck a chord.
Yeah.
And listen, I and then in addition to Kobe, 7 other souls that were lost on that helicopter, which, listen, I know there's going to be a lot of hindsight. There's going to be a lot of people saying it should have never taken off. The police were grounded that day. There was fog. They should have known better.
Yeah.
We know all that. Let's not. I just don't think there's a need to. I'm sure that
There's no
if they could,
right
I'm
now,
sure.
man.
Yeah,
It's over.
This is not. It's over, and it's not
sad.
the time for that. And it just shouldn't happen anyway.
Just do what you can
It's
do to help.
It's just an
Not-
absolute tragedy.
Not talk smack on other people. Just try and
Right.
help out.
Right now, just try and keep the families of those people in your thoughts and prayers. 'Cause that's all you can do. But as far as Kobe, the one thing that I think we're going to miss him, because I think he had already entered that second phase of his career. The guy had already won an Oscar.
I know.
He'd won an Oscar. First of all, he's a 5-time NBA champion, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and he was one of the big reasons after the American team, the national team was kind of embarrassed, I think, coming off of one of those Olympics, and he was a big reason why they came back with a ferocity 4 years later and won dominantly, like a la the Dream Team, back in the early 90s. He refocused that team a lot, and because he had an unbelievable amount of pride in this country, and he really wanted America to flex its muscles on that stage, and he's a big reason why. So that is a big part of his legacy too, is those 2 Olympic gold medals, the 5 championships, finals MVPs, 1 regular season, I think, MVP, an 18-time All-Star, and an Oscar winner for a documentary that he won just last year. And I'm sad for a couple things. One, he had an incredibly awesome, inquisitive nature about him. A lot of these interviews with people, and I've listened to so many. It was a really sad week because I listened to a lot of interviews from a lot of people, and they always said the same thing about him, was that he would always ask a lot of questions because he wanted to know about you, and he wanted to know about the steps you took and the things you did to get to where you were in your life. He was really inquisitive like that, and I love people like that who ask questions, because I come from a journalism background, and asking questions is part of my nature. So I appreciate that. But he apparently really took that to like a high level. Yeah. And the other thing is, and again, I'll reiterate what I said before, is that I feel like we're losing out on something. Yes, to your point, he accomplished a lot in 41 years, but think of what he could have done with another 41. Yeah. And that's sad. That's sad. But there is nothing worse. This as a parent. You've got 2. I've got 3. Losing a child is just not acceptable. It's just not. That's not the order. That is not.
His other kids are going through right now. Like
that is.
Does he have 2 more kids or 1? I know
2.
He has at least another daughter. Yeah.
Well, he had 4 daughters, so he's got 3. Yeah. So and 2 of them, I think he had was one of them 7 months old, and the other one was 3 years old, and then he's got the 17 or 18-year-old, right? Who with the oldest? This has got to be brutal for her. I mean, the other 2 kids.
I lose a dad and a sibling.
Yeah, just right. I mean, just
That's lots of therapy.
brutal,
And,
brutal.
yeah, just,
And for Vanessa, his wife, I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine the pain. I can't imagine the pain. Like I said, that is, we're taught that the order of things is, as a child, you bury your parents, not the other way around. So, that part just, when you think about that, I don't know about you. I mean, I think about that stuff a lot more than I should, but because it's depressing when you think about stuff like that. But you do think about that stuff. It does come into your mind. I think I've told you, so many times, like every morning, I watch the kids go out the front door and go onto the bus, and there is occasionally that really morbid thought, because we live in times with school shootings where you think, is this the last time I will see my daughters walking onto a bus? I hate to think like that. It's really disturbing, but those are the times we live in. Now, this is obviously a completely different circumstance. This was just a tragic accident that, while it should have never happened, it did, but you hate to see that. And, for us here in Connecticut, this sucked. We were going to see Gianna Bryant as a UConn player, winning national championships for Gino Auriemma in a few years. Mm-hmm. That was going to happen. They were here. Good. They visited. They were at stores. They played here. Mm-hmm. She was going to play here. She was going to play. I was going to watch her play in a few years. I was going to take my daughters to see her play at stores 15 minutes down the road from me. And that will never be able to happen either. It's as tragic an event. I was trying to think, in our lifetime, has there been a bigger celebrity loss? Princess Di was, that was, but I think what separates this is, again, a child being lost too. And also, again, 7 other people losing their lives on this helicopter flight. But, even Michael Jackson, the problem with Michael Jackson was listen, I know Kobe was flawed. He went through the sexual assault trial and everything, and those charges were dropped and all that. And we know Kobe was flawed. Yeah. He was a human being.
Everybody has their
we've all got our skeletons.
Nobody's perfect.
No. But Kobe seemed like he had really improved himself as a human being, though. The thing I hated the most, this is why Lady Gaga is right, that social media is the rectum of the internet. Yeah. Because I hated the one thing that I could not stand, and I blocked a few people without even saying anything to them, a number of people who just immediately wanted to say that Kobe got what he deserved because of I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you, man? You could say, listen, the guy perished with his daughter. You've got to be next level fucked up to say something like that.
There's just a lot of stupid people.
There's just a lot of trash. Like, this is why, and you know what? I've joked about this in the past. I fucking mean it. Twitter needs to regulate itself. Like, there need to be stupid people. There need to be stupid meters on Twitter. Yeah. Like, where if you go out and you just say something that is so obscene, you just get removed from Twitter. There need to be people out there policing that environment, because what about freedom of speech? Come on. Did we need to hear that? Did we need to hear that assholes saying, well, Kobe Bryant deserved to die because of that? Well, listen, for those people who say that stuff, when your time comes, and it will, when it comes, are you going to be able to, without getting overly religious here, are you going to be able to face God and sit there and say, boy, I led a perfectly clean life and I did nothing wrong? I won't be able to. I'll have my issues. I'll have things that I'll have to answer for when that day comes. Yeah. And I just, I hope that I've done enough good to outweigh the bad, but for those people who I just can't imagine saying anything like that. I really can't. But going back to the thing, I really don't think in our time there's been a greater, losing Steve Jobs was tough because he was just the things that he did technologically, just the advancements that he made, and those are all things that you hope can like help us too as a society, especially scientifically. And
It's tough with that though. I mean, like he was a very flawed character. I mean, oh
my God, a horribly flawed person.
There are
guy by a lot of
technological advances and all that kind of stuff, and just certain people. But like, yeah, as far as like, especially sports figures and like that kind of, or like the sports / like acting, like the arts.
I will tell you, of all those celebrity and athlete deaths in my lifetime, nothing felt like this. Nothing. No. Not, and I would say not even close. I think the only one that would have hurt more if I was alive for it would have been Munson. That would have been it. That would have been it. Yeah. But that would have also been because I was a Yankee fan and because I idolize not only Thurman Munson, the athlete, but the man, the guy,
the grit.
Hardcore
grit.
Right. Just to, again, like I kind of
why we love Paul O'Neill. Like,
yes, exactly. That mentality, that old school mentality.
And I know the greatest player, but he was the guy who would run through a wall for you.
Yes, and you loved that. And he, he was a winner. He was a champion. But he loved his family. I mean, Diana Munson still. So they had her on actually on the Michael Kay show after Kobe passed, and she still talks about how there's not a day. It gets easier, but it's not a wound. Yeah. It's not a wound that ever fully heals.
There's a scar forever.
Right,
and it's a big scar. And
she even said when the Kobe thing happened, she's like, it just opened up right again. They were talking about how like this is an exclusive club that you do not want to be part of. Yeah. When you lose.
What was like Buddy Holly and all them and all that
Richie Valens. Yeah. Yep, Richie Valens, Buddy Holly. Yep, on the same plane. Mm-hmm.
All that stuff.
on a plane that Richie Valens actually almost didn't even get on. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. A horribly tragic loss, and I hope we don't have anything like that again anytime soon.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible. But we are
sorry to end on that.
Yeah, we're on our way out. Our thoughts and prayers out to the Bryants and everybody that's surrounding them, all the friends and family that are around there. Thoughts and prayers, of course. But we are heading on our way out now. We will be back, I think, on Friday.
Yeah, good. I think so.
Good to go. We'll probably be back on Friday, and we'll be starting to touch on some basketball stuff.
No doctor's appointments on Friday, so
And starting Friday, we will come back with you to do like Rotten Tomato games. We'll be doing our.
I got a Funko Friday for us.
A Mount Rushmore, some Funko Friday stuff. We'll be doing all that stuff. We're starting to put it into our Any List, which is a great app. If you don't have it, definitely download it. You can share lists with friends and family, and
you can make your grocery list.
Exactly, that's what we do, and then you just cross it off and goes off everybody's list.
You can put 6 packs of soda, anything you want to keep cool. So.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just went right into Tommy Boy there. No. If Christine is listening, she probably will love that.
It's a very good cloud-based app. It does a very good job. We'll be putting some stuff together like that, and if you guys have anything that you guys want us to talk about. Mount Rushmore based or any kind of side stuff like that would be in the sort side or even the sports side. Go ahead and post in the comments. We definitely look at them. We try and respond to all of them as well, and we'll get on it as quick as possible.
So in your Any List, you put the Mount Rushmore of Star Wars characters, which I would like to do.
Okay,
I would like to do that.
Want to do it on Friday?
Yeah, why not?
You got it. We will put it on there. So I'm very intrigued to see who you put on there.
I mean,
stuff list.
2 of them are obvious, and I'm sure you'll know 2 of mine right off the top of your head, but then not so obvious. I think after that, I gotta.
So 2 original, like there's definitely 2 that are obvious for me. I don't know if you know who I'm thinking about, but like there's one that should have, but the way that things ended didn't make my list, and it makes me upset that he's not there.
Okay. I might have an idea who that is, but okay.
So I'm excited to talk about that.
All right.
So we'll do Mount Rushmore on Friday. Mount Rushmore, Star Wars.
Think of the lexicon of Star Wars and the history, the vast history dating back to the mid-70s. Good luck finding 4. I mean, two or 3 might be easy, but sometimes, but then, you get into preferences.
And it's going to be personal, not who you think everybody else. This is
Right. This is not your, this is my Mount Rushmore of Star Wars.
So if you guys have a Mount Rushmore of Star Wars characters, comment section below.
Yeah.
And we will, maybe we'll read them off next. We'll read off what you guys wrote, and then next episode, live. All right, we are out. We'll see
Stay classy, Planet Globe. Oh, part of the journey is the end, too, according to Tony Stark, so. Yeah.
We will see you guys on Friday.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's blow this music up. Ready? It's almost over.